as I was mentioning, initially it was about front desk, facility, office management. And they used to send us lists of employees on Excel sheet, 2,000-3,000, and we had to upload them because they didn't want to do it. That has changed. Now companies have put in place procurement processes for SaaS solution. They ask the right questions. They understand that we are becoming partners of large organizations. And so this information and this process has been cascaded across organizations. And so every time we come into contact with companies, now we go into a procurement process. That wasn't the case earlier. And the procurement process is driven by IT and security.
I see a lot of different companies and the buyers that we work with trying to figure this out, frankly. I think there's, I'm just looking at my notes here again, Lee, like 39% of employees we surveyed said they have not introduced any new health and safety technology that they're aware of from a company perspective. 84% of those employees are very concerned about going in. So you have this big divide of, are we going to do anything about this? And if so, what? And then when you look at that and you say, okay, who's responsible? You have to look at the history of companies and roles that exist in them and the future. And I feel like we're seeing this convergence of those two things coming together, positioning new roles and new owners in companies, maybe who had historical backgrounds. One of the things I see is physical security becoming very much tied into this. And the leaders of those physical security teams are also going to have to become technologists to some degree, because we know that technology can make a difference to a lot of these topics. So those things have to come together. And then also the executive team that runs these companies is going to have to say, we have to empower those people to enable technology and make procedural decisions, which aren't easy because they could impact businesses in a lot of other ways. So, for us, one of the things, again, we saw here is that 52% of our respondents feel like physical security has become a greater concern, and 11% feel like physical security is becoming a greater concern than cybersecurity, which is astonishing. Even though that number seems small, I think before this, if we were to have done a survey on this topic, it would have been non-existent. You could have said to no company, hey, is your physical security more important than your cybersecurity? Now that's changed, and I think that progression is going to change continually as we continue to survey. I would expect.
Well, I like to tell this story, actually. When my very first sale, actually one of my beta clients way back in 2010, even though we didn't incorporate to 2012, there was only two of us. There was myself and my CTO, Tom Peck. So we're a two-person company, and our first client was a government department. So two guys, basically not even working full-time in the business, sold a cloud solution to a government department. Now, you asked the question, how has the decision-making process changed? Well, we wouldn't get away with that today. We sold that to the receptionist and the office manager. So it was sort of low-hanging fruit. The client was using paper. It was easily to demonstrate, value, productivity gains by using an electronic system. We didn't have to go through the lens of IT, because IT didn't want to know about it. IT, it was cloud. It was so new. It was, as I said before, it's a little bit like witchcraft, and they didn't have to manage it, so it didn't matter. So what's changed dramatically since then is, and this has been incremental changes, right, since 2010. So we're now up to 2020. So sort of every couple of years, we've seen some different influences come into the decision-making process. The first, as we saw, was facilities managers started to become involved in the decision-making process, then security, then the IT team. Then we saw procurement coming in as contracts became larger. And then we started seeing other influences becoming part of the decision-making process. So